All right, it's game day. You only got one job to do. That's win. That means you stay focused for 4 quarters. Know your assignments and finish on every play. Don't be looking for shortcuts, and don't even think about making excuses. Because if you want the W, you're going to have to earn it.
And a very pleasant good evening, football fans, and welcome to Baker Gator High School football on WTJT 90.1 FM. Tonight, we are live from Baker, Florida, inside Doug Griffith Memorial Stadium. It is homecoming, and tonight, the Gators joust off with the Knights of Rocky Bayou. Last year, the Gators overthrew the Knights 81-26. Tonight, they had their work cut out for them. It's Rocky Bayou and Baker. It's homecoming, and it's all on WTJT. Stay tuned.
One of our sponsors this year for our live coverage of Baker Gator varsity football is Wise Equipment in Crestview. Wise Equipment specializes in sales and services of Kubota and John Deere mowers and tractors. They carry Steel and John Deere chainsaws, line trimmers, and blowers. Plus, they have John Deere toys. All products are backed by a manufacturer's warranty. Wise Equipment is located at 1147 South Ferdon Boulevard in Crestview and can be reached at 850-682-3366.
We are proud to acknowledge the support of Whitehurst Powell Funeral Home in Crestview. They are a family-owned and operated funeral home, open 7 days a week, and can handle all funeral needs. Plus, they offer advanced planning. Whitehurst Powell is also home to the Southern Heritage Crematory. They are located at 436 James Lee Boulevard, and the phone number is 850-682-3052. Owner Andy Powell is committed to caring for you in your time of need, and is also proud to help make coverage of Baker Gator football possible.
And welcome back to Baker High School. It is homecoming 2018. I'm Mark Forehand, along with Seth. Welcome to Baker Gator High School football. Last week, the Gators faced off with the Panama City Rutherford Rams, and after a really high-scoring game, the Gators came away with a 36-14 win over the Rams. And tonight, they face Rocky Bayou Christian School. Last year, the Gators simply overran and outplayed the Knights 81-26. Tonight, can the Knights do anything different? Seth, it's good to be back with you after a week off. And first off, last week's game. What's your thoughts on last week's game with the Rams?
Last week was a great game for Baker. Like we said, the year before, they really handled the Rams, and this time it was really no different. Only gave up one more touchdown. But the Gators just came out and played some really impressive football. As we saw again, Junior McLaughlin did what he has done all year. That game last week, he put up 227 yards on 22 carries, a very impressive 10-yard average, 3 scores on the ground, and then he added another touchdown on a 71-yard punt return for a touchdown. The Gator defense, led by guys like Joe Brunson and Cole Metz, who both racked up 13 tackles apiece, along with 4 sacks. This Gator defense also forced a couple of fumbles and recovered one of them. So just another impressive week, which has come to be what we've expected from these Gators. Every week they just come ready to play. They don't make many mistakes, and they're a phenomenal team to watch.
Indeed they are. The Knights come in so far on this young season. The Knights have 2 wins, 1 loss. Their wins were over Sherwood Christian Academy 27-14 and Snook Christian Academy 42-14. But Seth, they faced Jay earlier, and Jay 52-0 over Rocky Bayou. And so tonight, we mentioned last year's win 81-26. And in fact, since Matt Brunson became coach here at Baker, they have not lost to Rocky Bayou in football. And, tonight their work is cut out for them. No offense to our friends south of us here, but Rocky Bayou and just has struggled with Baker in the past. And it'll be a tough game tonight for the Knights. We are just about set for the national anthem as performed by the Baker High School Marching Band. also known as the sound of the swamp. We're going to take a brief timeout and be right back after this.
WTJT would like to thank Harris Fence of Baker, Florida for their support of WTJT and live coverage of Baker Gator football. Harris Fence offers a wide range of fencing services and supplies which include chain link, galvanized or vinyl coated, wood, privacy or picket, PVC, privacy, 3-rail, etc., and ornamental aluminum. They also offer various styles and brands. They do residential, commercial, and industrial work as well as offer free estimates and military and senior citizen discounts. Harris Fence is fully licensed and insured, and they have been serving Okaloosa, Walton, and Santa Rosa County for 21 years with 35 years experience. They are also a member of the Better Business Bureau. Harris Fence is located at 1588 Garrett Mill Road in Baker, Florida, and they can also be contacted by phone at 537-6169. Thanks again to Harris Fence and James and Rebecca Harris for your support of WTJT and our local football team.
This radio ministry relies heavily upon its gracious supporters to survive, like Days Tire Pros in Crestview. In addition to tires with a national warranty, they have a complete car care center, providing brake jobs, front end and rear end alignments, oil change, lube and filter, shocks, belts, air conditioning, and so much more. Days is located where they've been for nearly 4 decades of service on Highway 85 South, which is also home to Pack Rat Mini Storage. The phone number, 850-682-5088. Thanks, Kim and staff, for your support. Days Tire Pros, home of the hassle-free guarantee.
Milligan Assembly of God is a proud sponsor of Baker Gator football. Our service times are on Sundays at 9:30 for Sunday school, 10:30 for morning worship, and 6 p.m. for Sunday night explosion. Our midweek service is on Wednesday nights starting at 7 p.m., and there is something for every age group of the family. You can connect with us at mag.church, and you can check us out on Facebook. From Pastor Mike White and the congregation of Milligan Assembly of God, we want to say, Go Gators, yeah!
And welcome back to Baker High School. It is homecoming 2018, and very fair or large crowd here for homecoming for the Baker Gators. And across the way, Rocky Bayou has several fans on that side of the field as well. Rocky Bayou dressed out in their white jerseys, white pants, white helmets with the gold numbers, and of course the Gators in their maroon shirts and pants with the white numbers and the maroon helmets. And Seth earlier today had some rain, but right now the sun just peeking out from behind the clouds, actually about to set, and we are set for high school football on this, the next to last Friday in September. The Gators are 4-0 on the season, while Rocky Bayou comes in with 2 wins and 1 loss. Their loss, a shutout to Jay, 52-0, a team that Baker will face later on this year. In fact, it's been one of our arch rivals for as far back as I can remember. But nonetheless, tonight it's Baker and Rocky Bayou as high school football, and it's homecoming for the Gators. And just looking forward to a great game. I know in the past Rocky Bayou has given us a couple of close games, but never have been able to get that W against the Gators. And as we mentioned already, really another difficult task for the Knights tonight against these Baker Gators, who really have had an outstanding season. They got 1 shutout to their credit, a close game against Vernon 19-6, and then last week they really just demolished the Rams 36-14. Really, they've never been behind yet thus far this season.
Yeah, Baker, just an impressive team, like you said, all the way around. Special teams, offense, defense, they just have such potence in every aspect and every facet of this game. Defense has only allowed 3 touchdowns in these 3 games. That's some impressive work. Like you said, 1 shutout to their credit. Rutherford was the only team that was able to score the most against them, and you know how they did it was through the air. And so that's something that we may see tonight. Rocky Bayou is probably the most pass-heavy team that Baker has faced in these first 3 games. So the secondary is really going to have to buckle down and really work to keep them out of the end zone that way. But with so much speed, so much strength on this D-line and in the linebacking core, they're going to put a lot of pressure on this Rocky Bayou offense. So look forward to see the defense making some big plays, and then the offense doing what the offense has done all year, averaging, nearly 40 points a game.
Exactly. And you mentioned Rocky Bayou's defense. So far this year, they've had 4 interceptions and 23 tackles for loss, 3 defensive touchdowns, but they've allowed, as you mentioned, they've allowed 80 points. Of course, 52 of that was to Jay.
Right.
And we are just about set. The teams are on the field, and we're just simply waiting for this game to kick off.
And very interesting, you said they've had 4 interceptions, 3 of those taken back to the house for touchdowns. So Baker is obviously not a very pass-heavy team, so any chance that they do pass, this Rocky Bayou secondary is going to have to make the most of those opportunities, try to break up some passes, try to pick Rockwell off, something that hasn't been done all year. And he's only had about 11 passes to his credit, and 2 of those went for touchdowns. So not a very pass-heavy team, but when they do, they're very successful. So Rocky Bayou is just really going to have to work to try to stifle this Gator offense, which is something that not many teams this year have figured out how to do.
Well, Rocky Bayou is led by quarterback Aaron Grabinger. He's 9 of 25 for 189 yards, has 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he's had 42 carries for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. However, tonight we saw him in street clothes on the sideline, and 2 other quarterbacks out there we saw warming up before the game. So, but not sure if maybe he just switched jerseys or if he was actually on the sideline, because one of the quarterbacks, we had no name for him on our roster. The other quarterback was Jonah Needham, who's a freshman. So we'll see who Rocky Bayou has out there tonight. They have their team captains at midfield, and we're awaiting the entrance of the Baker Gators. The band is lined up, awaiting the entrance of the Baker Gators. And we are just about set. We'll take another short break and be right back after this.
WTJT would like to send a special thanks to CCSI of Crestview, Florida. It's businesses like you, through all your support, that makes this live coverage of the Baker Gators Friday Night Football possible.
Attention WTJT listeners. For us to stay on the air, it takes the support of friends like Baker Tire Center. Baker Tire Center is now a Goodyear tire dealer, but they still have a wide range and variety of all the different brands. From economy to luxury tires, from street to mud tires, they handle all tire needs, including flat repairs, mount and balance, rotate and balance, alignments, brake pads, shocks, tune-ups, AC work, and much more. Baker Tire Center also offers standard synthetic and diesel oil changes, as well as transmission, coolant, power steering, and brake services. Baker Tire Center is located at 5768 Highway 4 in Baker, and the phone number is 850-537-4002. Open Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 5, 7 to 12 on Saturday. Available on Google and Facebook. Baker Tire Center, now a Goodyear tire dealer in Baker, offering 12-month interest-free financing and a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty.
And welcome back to Baker High School. We are still waiting for the Gators to come through the band. Right now, the team captains are at midfield for the coin toss. Team captains. We are Rusty, my son, Rusty. Team captains for your Baker Gators is number 52, Zach Mason. Number 18, Peyton Rockwell. Number 72 is Charlie Elliott. And number 33 is Caleb Simpler. For Rocky Bayou, team captains are number 77, Colton Driscoll, number 78, Josh Jackson, number 5, Frank Tiller, and number 65, Jack Bryan. As we await the coin toss. Seth, not much you can say about Baker. I mean, they're 4-0. They're ranked. I'm not sure what their ranking was prior to tonight's game, but ranked heavy in the state. And really, so far this season, they've just won, very decisively. Just really, not knocking Holmes County, Vernon, or Rutherford, but they have taken the lead and held the lead each game. Vernon, a very close game, but tonight, they're facing Rocky Bayou. Last year, beat them 81-26. They have won every time they faced the Knights. This during Matt Brunson's campaign here at Baker. And the Knights lost the toss, and so the Gators have deferred. So the Knights will be receiving, and the Gators will be kicking off. And we're just about set for this homecoming game 2018. Another break, and we'll be right back after this.
WTJT would like to thank Jason Norton and Baker Metalworks for allowing us to bring live Baker Gator football coverage to the listeners of WTJT. Baker Metalworks offers a large variety of colors, and they are all Energy Star rated. They have 4 profile styles with 29 and 26 gauge. They also have delivery available, and all of their materials are Florida product approved. Baker Metalworks is located at 5846 Highway 189 in Baker. They can be reached by phone at 850-537-2010. Thanks again to Baker Metalworks for all of your support here at WTJT.
And welcome back to Baker High School, and here come your Baker Gators. So the Baker Gators and the Rocky Bayou Knights about set to face off in homecoming 2018 for the Baker Gators. And Seth, real quick, what do you look for in tonight's game?
I think tonight's going to be a good night of football. I think we're going to see Baker do what they've done in all 3 of the games they've played. They're just going to keep pounding the ball with McLaughlin on the ground, maybe give Rockwell a few tries through the air, and the defense is just going to keep doing what the defense has done, which is stop opposing offenses. The only thing that the Gators might do is stop themselves, which is something we've seen with penalties. So after totals have added up, something real quick before I talk about that, the game against Joshua Christian Academy that was canceled has actually been ruled as a forfeited win. So the Gators are 4-0, but only 3 played games. So in those 3 played games, they have accumulated 26 penalties for 154 yards. So they're averaging 9 penalties a game, 50 yards. That's not a whole lot of yardage, but it's enough that on drives that they have a lot of momentum where they're moving, getting in a rhythm, that they're really just halting their own progress and stopping themselves. So when opposing defenses aren't stopping them, they're really hindering themselves, and it seems like that's really the only way that the Gators are going to be stopped is if they stop themselves. So look for tonight to maybe see some improvement in discipline. Now we're getting close. We're about near the halfway point in the season, so hopefully some things are getting ironed out, and really I look to see the Gators as a well-oiled machine just continuing to work and continue to put up points.
Back deep for the Knights is number 4, Tyler Powell, and number 9, Will Ferguson, which, if we stay to what we have done all season, will not matter. It'll be a pooch kick over here to the far side, and we'll see how it goes. As always, number 28, Brian Holly, set to kick off for the Baker Gators. Baker and Rocky Bayou, and we are just about underway here from Doug Griffith. There's the whistle. And here comes the kick. And for the first time this year, he kicks it straight away. And it's going to be Ferguson at his 5-yard line. He's to the 10. And he's brought down quickly by Sean McLeod near the 14-yard line. So, Seth, all those pooch kicks, and this is the first time he has kicked straight away.
So I guess that would be a little trickery by the Gators. Rocky Bayou's obviously seen the tapes. They had a lot of guys up there ready to receive that. And Holly showed a nice little boot, kicks it deep, and now Rocky Bayou's going to have not great starting field position at their own 15.
Yeah, really a great kick by Holly. We haven't seen him kick it straight away this season, and actually kicked it down inside the 5-yard line. So Rocky Bayou comes out. They are in a spread formation, awaiting the call from the sideline. And Seth, we're thinking that Grabinger is the quarterback for Rocky Bayou.
Correct.
Awaiting snap from his center, Josh Jackson. And it's the quarterback keeper, and he's going to go nowhere, brought down quickly by that defensive line of the Baker Gators.
And that defensive line all starts with your big nose guard up front. That's Devin Jordan and his 2 tackles, Carter Mason, Sean McLeod, and the 2 ends, Eric McQueen and Caleb Sampler. They're just so fast, so strong, that anytime a hole seems to open up, they close it just as quick as it opened.
It's 2nd down and 7 from the 16-yard line for Rocky Bayou, just underway, 11:27 to go in this opening quarter. Again, it's a spread formation, and every player looks to the sideline for the play to be called in. And Grabinger is quarterback for Rocky Bayou. And in motion goes Tiller. And it's again quarterback, keeper right side, and he's brought down quickly by that Gator defense. Tackle made by number 49 for the Gators, and that's Eric McQueen.
Eric McQueen coming from that defensive end position. It looks like the quarterback's going to have a little hole. McQueen breaks off his block, gets an arm around him, and then just uses the rest of his body weight to bring him down and stop him for a short gain.
It's about a yard pickup, brings up 3rd down and 6 from the 17-yard line. 10:39 to go in this first quarter.
And look for the arm of Grabinger on this 3rd and long.
Again in shotgun formation with 2 receivers spread wide to his left. Now 1 man comes in motion. There's the snap. He bobbles the ball, picks it up, hands off, and there's a loose ball on the ground, but I believe he may have recovered his own fumble, but nearly a disastrous play for the Rocky Bayou deep in their territory. And back there to make the tackle was Sean McLeod for the Baker Gators.
Yep, Sean McLeod and also Joe Brunson coming from that cornerback position. He's blitzing, comes in hard. Quarterback's already bobbled the snap. He has just no time, only enough time to pick up the ball quickly, fall on it, and bring up this 4th and long. And you can bet that Rocky Bayou will be punting this one away.
It'd be interesting here to see who punts the ball. Now, we was watching several different punters during the warm-ups, and it was number 7 that was punting, and that's Zach Balthazar. In fact, that's who's back punting. Now, he's dangerously close to his own goal line. No one back for the Gators. There's a snap from Jackson. The high snap. He just does get the ball off, but it's going to bounce at his own 40, and it's down there by the snapper, Josh Jackson, at his own 41-yard line. So the Gators in great field position here in the first quarter, 9:19 to go.
And nice job by Josh Jackson, the big center, long snapper, getting all the way downfield and down in that punt. Great work and a good punt by Balthazar to get him out of the shadow of his own end zone. But Eric McQueen, I believe, was about a hand's breadth away from blocking that punt.
Very close. Well, the Gators are in great field position at the Rocky Bayou 41-yard line. 9:19 first quarter, no score. And now last week, Seth, we saw just really a mixture of plays. But right now they start out in shotgun with quarterback Peyton Rockwell. High snap, he grabs it down, and he's hit by 1 man in the backfield, gets by him. And then Peyton gets a couple of yards inside his 40 to about the 39 before being stopped by Rocky Bayou.
And great job by Rockwell there. He gets the snap up. It hits him in the hand. He brings it back down. Great awareness to just take it and go to the outside and try to pick up some yards. And he's able to pick up a couple before Rocky Bayou chases him down.
Kenny Williams goes into the Baker lineup. Out comes Eric McQueen. And again, Peyton stays. But last week we saw several Wildcat formations with Junior McLaughlin. But right now it's getting shotgun formation, and Peyton hands off to Junior, who's across the 40, or sorry, the 30, and he is pulled down at the 25-yard line by Grabinger, who also plays in the defensive backfield for Rocky as well as quarterback.
And who else but Junior McLaughlin, just the absolute workhorse, offensive production machine. Takes the ball right up the middle, makes a couple of cuts, and picks up a first down in Rocky territory.
About a 13-yard run. Again, Junior on the handoff. He's across the 20, the 10, the 15, the 5. Goal line, touchdown, Junior McLaughlin.
And that's something you said for about the 7th time this year. That is Junior McLaughlin's 7th touchdown on the ground. Just an absolute machine running that football. You see him go right up the middle, get some great blocks by that impressive O-line on the right side. Gavin Vaccarello, Zach Mason, and the center, Dustin Oglesby, just creating space. McLaughlin takes it up the edge, and then you just see some absolute track speed as he gets on that sideline, jets into the end zone. A touchdown for the Gators on the board here. 3
plays, 41 yards, 39 from McLaughlin. And now into the lineup comes the kicker, Brian Holly. 8:13 to go in this first quarter. Your center, as you mentioned, is Oglesby. Holder is Nathan Fleming. And there's a whistle and a flag, and it's going to be a delay of game against the Gators. Now, for whatever reason, Holly was late running onto the field. And so now if this was college, professional, not a big deal, but in high school, that 5 yards could make a big difference. I believe Holly is like 3 of 7 on the year on extra points, something like that.
I think he upped his average about 5 for 9 now, just over 50%.
There's the snap. Ball is down. The kick is up, and it is good. 8:13 to go in the first quarter. It's Baker 7, Rocky Bayou nothing. Back after this.
Hi, this is Tony from Baker Feed and Country Store. The Baker Gator football season is back, and we are proud supporters of WTJT's live Baker Gator football program. Baker Feed and Country Store has all your fall food plot, seed, and fertilizer needs, along with corn, rice bran, pellets, and blocks. We carry Justin boots, belts, wallets, and Wrangler jeans. Baker Feed and Country Store is located on the right at the light in downtown Baker and can be reached by phone 537-1000. Again, that's 537-1000. Go Gators!
And welcome back to Baker High School. A 21-yard run by Junior McLaughlin and Brian Holly with the extra point. And it's now Baker 7, Rocky Bayou nothing, 8:13 to go in this first quarter. And again, back deep for Rocky Bayou. Looks like it's Will Ferguson who is back deep for the Knights.
Along with Tyler Powell back there.
And Tyler Powell, exactly. Holly to kick off, and the first kick was straight away, Seth. And now he's lined up like he's going to kick it straight away once again. So here we go. Let's see what he does. And indeed he does kick straight away, and this time it's going to go out of bounds about the 25-yard line. Now, I had asked Coach Matt Brunson about the pooch kick that they've done and his strategy, and he was a simple answer. It's no return. And also, if your defense covers better than your kick-off team does, it prevents a returnable ball. But he was saying that since he's been here, 2011, their average on a returnable kickoff has been the 42-yard line. And also, in the 7 years he's been coach, they've had 9 return for touchdowns on the kickoff. So that was some of his reasoning behind doing the pooch kick. And it's worked every time this year in the first 3 games. But now this time, with the kick going out of bounds, it will be 1st and 10 Rocky at their 35-yard line. Again, shotgun formation for Grabinger. Yet to see him go to the air, quarterback keeper left side. Being pursued, he breaks away. He's to the 40. He's to the 45-yard line. Great run by Aaron Grabinger on the far side, being forced out of bounds by Kenny Williams.
And actually, that is Zach Balthazar. They were running the Wildcat formation there. And so Balthazar is able to take it and run around that edge and just barely outflank the Gator defense and get close to a first down. So great run by Balthazar.
It is an 8-yard pickup. It is 2nd down and 2. The ball at the Rocky 43-yard line. 8:04 to go in this first quarter. It's Baker 7, Rocky Bayou nothing. But yeah, you're right, Seth. That was the Wildcat, but now it looks like Grabinger is back in there at quarterback.
Yes.
That's a man in motion, and now quarterback keeper again on the right side, and he goes nowhere. He slips down, but Eric McQueen right there just to make sure, and he loses about 3 yards back to the 40-yard lines and now brings up 3rd down 5 for the Knights.
And that time it looked like he might have mishandled the snap again there and just it threw off his rhythm, and as he's trying to get outside, that grass monster just took his legs out from under him, and then like you said, McQueen there to make sure he doesn't go anywhere.
3rd down 5, Rocky Bayou. The ball just inside their 40. Clock rolling, 7:30 to go in this first quarter. And Grabinger back in there at quarterback. Awaits the snap from his center, Josh Jackson. Now man goes in motion. That is Tiller. And hands off to Tiller, but he goes nowhere. Met there quickly by Joe Brunson and also Carter Mason. And that's going to be a loss back to about the 38-yard line. Seth once again brings up 4th and long for the Knights.
And Rocky trying to do a little jet sweep there, but it's so hard to run laterally against this Gator defense because they've got so much speed. They close quick on the ball carriers, and that time just immediately Frank Tiller has nowhere to go as Brunson closes on him and brings him down.
Balthazar back to punt. Again, no one back. It's blocked. The Gators blocked the ball, blocked the punt. And it's recovered by Rocky Bayou, but it'll be Gator ball nonetheless at about the 32-yard line. Well, Seth, the first time he punted, he seemed to take an awful long time to get that ball off. And this time, took too much time as it was blocked by the Gators.
Yeah, again, like you said, it's taken too long to develop. I'm not sure if the snap is not coming fast enough or if he's just taking a little bit too much time to kick it away. He also looks a little bit closer to the long snapper than is normal. So just a lot of things combining there. And then obviously, like we've talked all games, is the speed of Baker defense getting back there. And that time it paid off. And the Gators are going to have phenomenal field position to start this second drive.
Eric McQueen comes in late for the Gator offense. In the backfield is quarterback Peyton Rockwell and running back Junior McLaughlin. And then McQueen goes to tight end. Trey Colmetz is in motion. There's a snap. It's a high snap, but he gets it down to Junior, who runs slam into one of the defensive players for Rocky, but now he bounces outside, and it's a touchdown, Baker Gators. So quickly, a 32-yard run by Junior, and that's his second touchdown, and they're up 13-0.
And Junior McLaughlin just doing Junior McLaughlin things right there. You see him go up the gut. He lowers the boom on one of the linebackers for Rocky Bayou, heads to the outside, breaks some arm tackles, and then again, once he hits that sideline, it's just all jets. Scores another touchdown. Now 2 on the night, nearly 100 yards on the ground.
And on for the extra point is Brian Holly once again. 6:31 to go in this first quarter. Play clock at 10 seconds, but they should get this play off in plenty of time this time. There's the snap from Oglesby. Fleming gets the ball down. It is up, and it is perfect. 6:31 to go, first quarter. Baker 14, Rocky Bayou nothing.
WTJT and the Baker Gators are proud to recognize Baker Parts in downtown Baker as a sponsor of live coverage of Baker Gator football. Baker Parts has auto parts and hardware for all household needs. Baker Parts is located at 1304 Georgia Avenue in Baker, and their phone number is 537-3131 or 537-4231. Thanks, Danny, and all the staff at Baker Parts for helping to make coverage of Baker Gator football possible on WTJT. WTJT would like to say thank you to the Okaloosa County Teachers Federal Credit Union for supporting our coverage of Baker Gator football. Okaloosa County Teachers Federal Credit Union offers a wide variety of financial services with 4 locations, including the Baker branch location at the entrance to Baker School next to the Gator Cafe. They can be reached at 850-537-9815 or on the web at OkaloosaFCU.org. You can be a member of the credit union if you live, work, or worship, or attend school in Okaloosa County. For all your financial needs, it's Okaloosa County Teachers Federal Credit Union, achieving goals together.
And welcome back to Baker High School. Baker 14, Rocky Bayou nothing. 6:31 to go in this first quarter. 2 touchdowns by Junior McLaughlin. And now the kick by Holly. And once again, straight away. And this time it's Powell. He bobbles the ball, drops it now, just falls on it quickly. Ball still may be loose, but I believe Tyler Powell may recovered. But it's deep in Rocky Bayou territory, about the 11-yard line. So almost a disastrous play by Powell.
And if you're Rocky Bayou, this is a position that you do not want to be in. Gators have already scored 2 quick touchdowns. We're not even halfway through the first quarter, and Rocky hasn't been able to get a first down. So this drive, it's going to be very important for them to put some plays together, at least get a couple first downs, show some progress, and keep that Gator offense off the field.
Absolutely correct, Seth. 6:23 first quarter, Baker 14, Rocky Bayou nothing. It is 1st and 10, Rocky. The ball at their 12-yard line is the official yard line. And they still look to the sideline for the play. No huddle. Shotgun formation, and Aaron Grabinger is quarterback. There's the snap from center Josh Jackson. And he's going to keep the ball and runs to his left. And he just runs into a swamp of Gators. Lead the charge was number 6 in score, along with Caleb Simpler and Trey Colmetz and Eric McQueen, and Seth just nowhere to go for the quarterback.
No, and that's the thing that we've talked about is just this quick Gator defense, and they're so good at breaking off blocks. It's hard to contain them. They're very shifty. They're slippery, and immediately they're in the backfield, and Grabinger just has nowhere to go.
It's about a 2-yard loss back to the 10-yard line, brings up 2nd down and 12. 5:50 to go in this opening quarter. And again, Grabinger in shotgun formation, trying to get this night offense in motion here, get them going down the field. A long snap count. Finally gets the ball from his center. And again, it's just a quarterback keeper left side, and again, nowhere to go. He's hit quickly right there by Devin Jordan, along with several other Gators on the tackle. Looked like Zach Mason and just several of them there, Seth, on that tackle.
Yeah, pretty much half the right side of that defensive line was in his face immediately. And I'm curious about the strategy here from Rocky. Is that's been several quarterback runs that just haven't been able to go anywhere. They haven't developed well. The blockers are just not getting good blocks. And I'm curious to see if they're going to let him try to air the ball out a little bit and pick up some yards. Again, it's 3rd and a mile here, and this isn't a position you want to be in against the Gator defense.
No, sir. 4:50 to go in the first quarter. And there's the snap, and he does go to the air. He throws it out to his receiver, to Powell, and it goes incomplete, Seth. And really just looks like it's going to be a wide receiver screen maybe, and just falls incomplete. He overthrows this man. And now they face 4th and about 13. Dangerously close to their own goal line. Ball is placed just inside the 10.
Yeah, this time it's going to be absolutely crucial that Balthazar gets this punt off quickly. They might even try a rugby-style kick just to get him running and kick it. Even if it's short, just anything to keep the Gators from blocking it as he's about 3 yards deep in his own end zone.
And no one deep for the Gators. And this time he gets the punt off this time, and it will bounce inside his 40, but rolls to midfield. So for the first time tonight, the Gators may be starting in their own territory as the ball is downed by Frank Tiller at the Baker 49-yard line. But it seemed like the rush was kind of held back that time.
Maybe some mercy.
I hate to say that, but yeah, maybe just Coach Brunson showing some mercy.
And honestly, that time, Balthazar really got the punt off quick. As soon as it was in his hands, I mean, he kicked it. He dropped it right off. Didn't take as many steps. It was almost just a straight kick. And he got a good 40 yards on it. The Gators are going to start at their own 49. So, good punt by Balthazar.
Well, you're right, Seth. It was a great punt. He did get off quicker that time. But during warm-ups, we was watching him punt. And actually, during the warm-ups, the center was only snapping the ball about 10 yards. And usually it's a 15-yard snap on punts. So then that could be part of the issue there, too, because 5 yards makes a big difference when you're trying to get that ball off.
Oh, absolutely.
You've got just, the whole punt return team rushing in on you.
Yeah, for sure.
4:28 to go in the first quarter. Baker 14, Rocky Bayou nothing. There's been an official timeout called, but Seth, what's your keys to tonight's game?
So something I want to talk about, and since Baker's going to be on offense starting now, we'll talk about them. So number one, and they've already done it, get the ball to McLaughlin. He's your guy on the ground. He's already had 553 yards coming in. He's broken over 600 tonight now. He has 8 touchdowns on the year, counting tonight. He's the guy. Get the ball in his hands and let him do what he does. Penalties, they haven't had any penalties yet on these last 2 drives except on the extra point. So, well done. We'll get to the other 2 after this play.
In motion goes Trey Colmez. Snap is to Peyton Rockwell. Hands off to Junior McLaughlin, and he is hit quickly and brought down by number 54. That is Jacob Perry, who just busted that offensive line, and he stops McLaughlin, but he still picks up 2 yards to the Rocky 49, but now it's 2nd down 8.
And some great life on that Rocky defense there. As you said, Perry is able to get in the backfield and use his full body weight to pull McLaughlin to the ground.
4 minutes to go in the first quarter. And now Rockwell looking to pass for the first time tonight. Goes downfield. It's intercepted. Rocky Bayou makes the interception, and that's number 4, Tyler Powell.
So that is a key that I was going to get to for Rocky Bayou winning the turnover battle. What did we talk about before the game? 4 interceptions on the secondary, 3 taken back to the house. I knew they wouldn't get many opportunities to try to pick off the ball, but they made the most of the one opportunity they've already had tonight, and they get an interception. That's the kind of life this Rocky Bayou defense is going to need to stay in this ball game.
So make it 5. There was a flag down, Seth, but it was an ineligible receiver downfield for Baker. Rocky declines, and so all of a sudden Rocky Bayou, we see new life in that offense, and they're still in their own territory, but they're at the 41-yard line, which is a lot better than the 10, obviously.
The best they've had thus far in their last 3 drives.
3:51, first quarter, Baker 14, Rocky nothing. And I remember Matt Brunson years ago saying that when you pass, 3 things can happen, and 2 are bad.
That's right.
That was the bad.
That was
one
the
of the
bad
bad.
For sure.
And now for the Grabinger. I believe that's Grabinger in shotgun formation.
Yes.
And now a whistle. And let's see, I don't see a flag yet, Seth.
They might have got it.
It's offside, so it's like against the Gators.
Looks like, all right.
So that's a free 5 yards for Rocky Bayou, and it's now 1st and 5, Rocky at their 46-yard line. 3:35 to go first quarter. Grabinger again to that right side. He's brought down quickly. It's fumbled. Joe Brunson makes the tackle. He fumbles the ball. Rockwell picks it up. He's in the end zone. And let's wait for the official sign. Touchdown, Baker Gators. So, wow, what a turn of events here for Baker and Rocky.
Wow is all I can say about that. You turn a play as an interception, and then immediately the one who threw the interception picks up the fumble and takes it for a touchdown. So I think Rockwell redeemed himself for that interception there. But again, the Gator defense, Joe Brunson in the backfield, almost as soon as the ball was, gets his helmet on that ball, punches it out, and then Rockwell with the great awareness to scoop and score. And he looked like lightning shooting down the field there.
I don't know if he's as fast as Junior, but he looked awful fast on that run. But, you know, what a great play, heads-up play by Peyton. What a play, as you mentioned already, Joe Brunson. He's had a great year so far, Seth. I believe he leads the defense in tackles, I believe you said earlier. And,
Yes.
and there's the kick by Holly. It is up. It is good. 3:18 to go first quarter. Your new score, Baker 21. Rocky Bayou nothing back after this.
Thank you, Brackney Funeral Service in Crestview, for your support. Brackney Funeral Service is located on Highway 90 East. They are locally owned and operated and provide all the traditional funeral services, including burials and cremations. And the telephone number is 683-9898, 683-9898. Terry Brackney is the funeral director. Again, thanks, Terry and Brackney Funeral Service for giving to WTJT.
And welcome back to Baker High School. So, Seth, Peyton throws the interception. Very next play, scoops and scores on the fumble recovery. Now, does that fumble recovery cancel out the interception?
It won't in the stat book, but I think for your own peace of mind, that feels pretty good.
But what a great heads-up play by Joe Brunson on the tackle, knocking the ball loose, and Peyton scooping it up and running it in for the touchdown. And all of a sudden, it's 21-0. And that new life that we saw with Rocky Bayou all of a sudden just disappeared on one play. But here's still a chance to redeem themselves. Back deep is Tyler Powell and Will Ferguson, and set to kick off is Brian Holly.
And let's mention Brian Holly showing an absolute boot tonight. 3 for 3 on his point after touchdowns, and all these kickoffs have been going pretty deep, so he's shown that he's got a leg as a kicker. Very great job by Holly.
And they can't see it on the radio, Seth. Now here's the first pooch kick tonight. And Balthazar picks it up. He's going to try to run for it. He's at his 20, 25. He fumbles the ball out of bounds. But what an amazing play by Balthazar on that. But they can't see the extra points. But, Seth, he's not just making them. He is clear. It is clearing the goalpost. I'll get it right in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
But it's clearing the goalpost way above the goalpost and sailing, as far back as it can go into the field. So he's not just barely making these extra points. He's got plenty of room to spare.
Emphatically making these extra points.
Exactly.
And that pooch kick there was actually not a standard pooch kick for him, because that one went nearly almost to the 20-yard line, so kind of deeper there. And Balthazar trying to field it, just can't get a good grip on the ball, and that lightning quick Gator defense fell on him quick.
You're right. It wasn't really a pooch kick like we've seen all season, but it does give Rocky Bayou good field position at the 30. Grabinger, quarterback keeper, he goes nowhere. He meets a team meeting of Gators led by Caleb Sampler and also Eric McQueen and Joe Brunson. Kind of the trio.
That's the guys you expect to be making the plays on every down, and usually they are. Their names are going to be mentioned because they're in that pile almost every time. They just have almost a sixth sense of where that ball is, and they find whoever's carrying it, and they bring them down quick. And like you said, Joe Brunson, leading the team in tackles, 24 total, 12 solo, 12 assists, 7 tackles for loss, and 4 sacks on the year.
Correction, Seth, that was Sean McLeod. I said Caleb Simple, but that was Sean McLeod back there. Again, quarterback keeper this time left side, and again, just know where to go. Brought down quickly by that big Baker defensive line. I believe that's Carter Mason who led the charge on that tackle, Seth.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
And also Devin Jordan in there. But just that whole front defensive line, Caleb Sampler, Carter Mason, Devin Jordan, Sean McLeod, Eric McQueen. And I've not seen Caleb Sampler in there tonight. He is one of the starters, but I don't see him tonight. Joe Brunson, I believe, is on that position that Caleb Simple usually plays. 3rd down and 12 from the 28. Now Back to passes. Grabinger, he throws it downfield. He had a man, had Balthazar open, and then Sam Croson makes an incredible deflection there, knocking the ball away at the last second, but great arm by Grabinger.
Yeah, Grabinger's showing off that nice tight spiral, gets it deep. He has Balthazar open, but he's only open for a split second before Sam Croson, like you said, just makes a great diving deflection. And now it's going to be 4th and long, another 3 and out for this Rocky offense.
It is 4th and about 12 from their 28-yard line. Once again, Seth, no one deep for the Gators. And Balthazar back to punt. And again, he gets off a nice punt. It will sail into Baker territory, bounces inside the 40, and it's down once again by the center, Josh Jackson, at the Baker 38-yard line. So far, their best defense has been their punt team for Rocky Bayou, but it's Baker 21, Rocky nothing, 1:33 left in this opening quarter, and we'll keep it right here as both teams already on the field. And so far, Seth, best I can tell, there's been no substitutions. Looks like he's keeping his first string there so far.
It's homecoming. Give him the first half, maybe.
Exactly. Jack Adams comes in to the lineup. Brad Inscore comes wide to the left side, and looks like now Peyton may be under center. In the backfield, of course, is McLaughlin and Garrett Mitchum. Hand off to McLaughlin. He's to the 45, the 50, the 45. He's still going. He breaks the tackle. He's at the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, McLaughlin and the Baker Gators.
You know, you run out of words to describe just how great of a runner Junior McLaughlin is. Just every time he gets the ball, he's making plays. That time, it looks like Rocky's going to be able to bring him down, but he puts a great stiff arm on one of the linebackers. Then he's on the sideline. You think they're going to wrap up his legs. Keeps on chugging. And then once he gets into open space, he just absolutely jets downfield. Just a lightning-quick player. So fun to watch. 3 touchdowns tonight, about 150 yards. What a night.
A 62-yard run just then, and so he may break that 600 or 700 yards before this night is over, and you got some scores there, it looks like.
We do.
Right now, here's the extra point by Brian Holly. There's your snap. Ball is down, and the kick is up, and once again, Seth, it is perfect down the middle with room to spare. 1:18 to go. Your new score is now Baker 28 and Rocky Bayou nothing. And got a few scores here for you. At the end of the first, it is Niceville nothing. They're playing Catholic from South Florida. Over in Crestview, with a minute to go in the first, Crestview over West Florida 14-0. And Mosley 14, Fort Walton nothing in the first with 2 minutes to play. So Crestview playing, I guess that's West Florida Tech. They're shutting them out. And Mosley shutting out Fort Walton. And Niceville tied at 0 in their game. 1:18 to go. And just, again, as you said, just an awesome run. Beautiful run. Just, a dynamic run by Junior McLaughlin. Just trying to find new words to describe. So that's 3 rushing touchdowns for him tonight, plus the defensive touchdown, courtesy of quarterback Peyton Rockwell, and it's Baker 28, Rocky nothing, 1:18 to go in this first quarter.
You know, I heard something interesting. There's 2 different kinds of ways to describe a player, intelligent and skilled. And intelligent players, they can see the play, they recognize things they need to do and what they should do, and they're skilled players that are able to execute these things, that are able to make guys miss and stiff-arm guys and just juke guys out of their shoes and jet downfield. McLaughlin has the best of both worlds. He's an intelligent player and has the skills to back up every decision he makes. He's a patient runner, but then once he gets into open field, he's just blazing downfield. A great night for him so far.
And Brian Holly kicks this one out of bounds near the 20-yard line, and that'll give Rocky Bayou a good field position at their 35-yard line. So that's the second time he has kicked out of bounds tonight. 2 straightaways and 2 out of bounds, but so far no real pooch kick. And I thought that was interesting. I hope Matt didn't change his plans because I talked to him about that earlier this week.
That's interesting that happened. Yeah, it's very curious. But honestly, this has actually been better starting out because most of the pooch kicks have been landing somewhere closer to midfield in the 40s usually. So now kicking it deep and out of bounds is still starting the offense at the 35. So still not a bad strategy. Still working, obviously, very well for this Gator defense.
It is 1st and 10, Rocky from their 35. 1:18 to go, first quarter, 28-0 Baker. Again, shotgun formation with Aaron Grabinger at quarterback. There's the snap. And again, left side, a flag comes down, and Grabinger gets maybe a yard before being tackled.
It was Joe Brunson, I believe, that grabbed him. He's kind of playing at that defensive end position tonight. And that time, as soon as Grabinger tries to cut upfield, Brunson's on him.
Well, they waved the flag off. It's a 2-yard pickup by Grabinger. It is now 2nd down, 8 for Rocky Bayou from their 37-yard line. We're down to 65 seconds left in this opening quarter. Homecoming for Baker. A lot of folks here tonight for homecoming and to watch these Gators. Undefeated on the season so far, 4 wins and no losses, and looking to make it 5 in a row tonight. On 2nd down and 8. It's a man in motion. That's Balthazar. He takes the ball, hands off, trying to find somewhere on that right side, and he is hit hard by big number 49. That's Eric McQueen for the Gators, who just put a lick on Balthazar and knocks him back to about the 30-yard line.
Yep, and that time again, they're trying to run this wide receiver screen, get Balthazar some space on that wide open side of the field, and he's just not able to compete with the quickness of this Gator defense. McQueen, from the defensive end position, tracks him down and just plants him into the turf. So he's going to lose several yards, bring up a 3rd and long. Again, these are the kind of situations you don't want to have to face the Gator defense in.
And that's going to be the last play of the first quarter. At the end of one, it's Baker 28, Rocky Bayou nothing. Back after this.
One of our sponsors this year for our live coverage of Baker Gator varsity football is Wise Equipment in Crestview. Wise Equipment specializes in sales and services of Kubota and John Deere mowers and tractors. They carry Steel and John Deere chainsaws, line trimmers, and blowers. Plus, they have John Deere toys. All products are backed by a manufacturer's warranty. Wise Equipment is located at 1147 South Ferdon Boulevard in Crestview and can be reached at 850-682-3366.
And welcome back to Baker High School as we are set to begin the second quarter. It's Baker 28 and Rocky Bayou nothing. And have a few more scores for you. At the end of one, Niceville still tied at 0 with Catholic. I believe that's Champagnat Catholic from South Florida. Crestview up 14-7 over West Florida. And Jay and Escambia Academy tied at 0 at the end of the first. So no score between Jay and Escambia County and Crestview at 14-7. And we'll be facing Jay here. Actually, we'll be traveling to Jay next week.
That is correct.
We'll be at Jay, be the first road game for the Gators this year.
And that'll be for the classic rivalry, the War on Highway 4. A very old and traditional rivalry. I'm sure we'll have some fun facts about that game next week.
So 3rd down and about 12 for Rocky Bayou back at their 33-yard line, and now a flag comes in. Almost a flagless first quarter except for the delay of game on the Gators. And now they had an offsides earlier, and I believe this is going to be offsides again as well. And they also had an ineligible receiver downfield on one play, but
right.
Nonetheless, it is now 3rd down and about 7 yards from the Rocky 38-yard line. Long snap count by Rocky Bayou. Now Grabinger back to pass, going for Powell, overthrows him, and he was covered, triple coverage there, Seth. Look at Nathan Fleming, Kenny Williams, and Brad Inscore all right there to make sure in case he did catch the ball. So now 4th and 7 for Rocky Bayou.
Yeah, dangerous pass, but just a little bit too much mustard on that one. Goes a little high and sails over. So it's going to bring up a 4th down for the Rocky Bayou offense.
And they do drop back into punt formation. I thought they might go for it here, but no, they're going to drop back into punt formation. And the punter is Zach Balthazar. And again, no one back for the Gators. Still awaiting the snap. It's a high one. Balthazar does get it down. They get some rush on that one. And it's going to be a high punt, but a short one, but now it takes a nice rocky bounce inside the Baker 30, 25, 24-yard line. So pins the Gators back deep in their territory, perhaps the deepest we've seen them tonight, back at their 24-yard line.
Yeah, a good punt by Balthazar. It looked like it was almost going straight up, and then once it hit the ground, it took an excellent rocky bounce and rolls end over end and goes to about the 24-yard line. So the Gators will start, like you said, about the deepest they've started, but with the Gator offense, you can start at your own 1-yard line. It really won't make much of a difference just with the kind of production and efficiency they have.
They'll just pad junior stats. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
11:38 until the half, and it's 28-0 Baker, and they have the ball 1st and 10. Again, Peyton under center. At fullback is Garen Mitchum, and McLaughlin gets the handoff. He's across the 30, 35, 40, cuts it outside. He's to the midfield, 40, and he tried to leap over the defender from Rocky Bayou, and he gets knocked out of bounds. I believe that's actually Balthazar that tried to make this tackle and does make the tackle, and Junior tries to leap over him. He tried to make one of those ESPN top 10 plays, but didn't quite work out for him. But he does get down to the inside the 30-yard line, right at the 30. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I want to mention how great the Gator offensive line has been because Carter Mason was almost keeping up with him. He was running into the secondary with McLaughlin as the rest of the O-line already had their blocks, and then McLaughlin just gets upfield and already in Rocky territory.
1st and 10 from the Rocky 30. Junior takes a handoff left side, cuts back in, cuts back out, and he's finally brought down by Josh Jackson inside the 20-yard line. But once again, another great power run by McLaughlin.
Yeah, just straight up the gut there. Again, like you said, makes a few cuts, just some little small moves here and there, some fancy footwork. Picks up another 1st down, just padding those stats. Probably well over 200 yards now tonight.
Ball is at the 16-yard line. 10:49, Baker 28, Rocky Bayou nothing. Timeout Rocky, back after this.
We are proud to acknowledge the support of Whitehurst Powell Funeral Home in Crestview. They are a family-owned and operated funeral home, open 7 days a week, and can handle all funeral needs. Plus, they offer advanced planning. Whitehurst Powell is also home to the Southern Heritage Crematory. They are located at 436 James Lee Boulevard, and the phone number is 850-682-3052. Owner Andy Powell is committed to caring for you in your time of need, and is also proud to help make coverage of Baker Gator football possible.
And welcome back to Baker. A timeout by Rocky Bayou. The Gators had the ball 1st and 10 at the Rocky 16-yard line. 10:49, second quarter, and it's Baker 28. Rocky Bayou nothing. And now between Niceville and Champagnat Catholic, it is Catholic 7-0 over Niceville in the second quarter with 7 minutes to go. Peyton Rockwell under his center, Dustin Oglesby. Again, handoff to Junior. And he goes untouched into the end zone. Touchdown, Baker Gators. And Seth, you mentioned that offensive line was just doing a great job. Your center, Oglesby. The guards, Carter Mason and Vaccarella. And then the tackles, Taylor Barrow and Zach Mason. And Junior just goes untouched, 16 yards, touchdown Baker.
Yeah, exactly. We talk about McLaughlin all the time, and him in and of himself is just an absolutely astounding player. So much fun to watch, such brilliance as a runner. But it all starts with those big fellas up front, and those 5 guys on that line are just great blockers, and they're having fun tonight because they're getting great blocks. They're giving their running back room, and now they've allowed him to put up 4 touchdowns tonight. Just a great night for McLaughlin and his O-line.
And there's the extra point by Brian Holly, and it is perfect once more, 5 for 5. 10:41 until the half. Your new score, Baker 35, Rocky Bayou nothing. Back after this.
WTJT would like to thank Harris Fence of Baker, Florida for their support of WTJT and live coverage of Baker Gator football. Harris Fence offers a wide range of fencing services and supplies which include chain link, galvanized or vinyl coated, wood, privacy or picket, PVC, privacy, 3-rail, etc., and ornamental aluminum. They also offer various styles and brands. They do residential, commercial, and industrial work as well as offer free estimates and military and senior citizen discounts. Harris Fence is fully licensed and insured, and they have been serving Okaloosa, Walton, and Santa Rosa County for 21 years with 35 years experience. They are also a member of the Better Business Bureau. Harris Fence is located at 1588 Garrett Mill Road in Baker, Florida, and they can also be contacted by phone at 537-6169. Thanks again to Harris Fence and James and Rebecca Harris for your support of WTJT and our local football team.
And welcome back. Kickoff is picked up by Balthazar near his 30 and gets it back out to his 40-yard line and brought down by number 55, Blake Lawson on that. So now Matt Brunson beginning to put some of his younger players in the lineup, Seth, and giving these guys a chance to play. It's Baker 35, Rocky nothing, 10-17 to go in the second quarter.
And it's interesting to get to see Balthazar return a kick. So he has 4 on the year, returned for 120 yards. One of them was a 73-yard touchdown return. So he's a good return man when he gets in space, but that time the Gators are able to bring him down quickly. But still, Rocky with good starting field position.
Well, Seth, a lot of new faces out there on the Baker defense. Rocky Bayou down 35-0 and getting quarterback keeper by Grabinger on the left side. And tackles made by number 60. That is Joshua Gamble for the Gators. It's about a 3-yard pickup. Brings up second down 7 from the Rocky 43.
Yeah, solid tackle by Gamble coming from that nose guard position. Just able to keep his eyes on the quarterback, find him, and drag him down for a short gain.
9:25 to go until the half. Second down 7, Rocky from their 43. They stay in shotgun formation. Long snap cap, Grabinger right side. And he is brought down quickly. Garen Mitchum on the tackle, once again with Joshua Gamble. And now Nolan Watson got in that backfield and was pursuing Grabinger, but couldn't quite get a hold of before he crossed the line. It's about a yard pickup, brings up 3rd and 6 from the 44-yard line.
And just another quarterback keeper. This is something we've seen a lot from Rocky all night. And then they get into these third, and this is more of a medium. This is one of the shorter third downs they've had, but still bringing up these third down situations where they're possibly going to have to pass. And I think the Gator defense is going to be ready for it.
It's a low snap. He just does pick it up. Gets by one defensive Gator, another, and he finally puts his head down. He goes across the 50-yard line, brought down hard by Seth Blahuda. But that is the first down for Rocky Bayou tonight.
It is, and that was the time the quarterback keeper paid off. And Grabinger showing his speed, getting to the outside, making a couple guys miss. A nice stiff arm on one of the defensive ends, and able to pick up a first down. And like you said, first down, and I believe the first time in Gator territory.
Indeed it is. 7:55 until the half. Baker 35, Rocky nothing. And yeah, he got by a couple of defenders on that end around on that. And now 1st and 10, Rocky at the Baker 47-yard line. And one of the linemen, a little anxious, jumps off sides. And so that'll be about the 3rd offside tonight against the Gators. And now it's 1st and 5, Rocky at the Baker 42-yard line.
So tonight it's not the offense hurting their own production, but the defense has just been giving up a few free yards. But even with giving those up, the Gator defense has just still been incredibly stout.
Well, Seth, if I'm not mistaken, it looks like the entire defense may be the second string for the Gators. To the air goes Grabinger! And almost a circus catch made by Tyler Powell, but he couldn't quite bring it in. And covering that time was number 34, Shane White, for the Gators.
Oh, but, man, great effort by Powell there. Has to try to come back to the ball and make a diving effort. Gets his hands around it, but then the Gator secondary comes in and lays the hit on him to separate that ball.
It is 2nd down 5. And there's whistles, and it's going to be timeout, Rocky Bayou. 6:34, 35-0, Baker on top. Back after this.
This radio ministry relies heavily upon its gracious supporters to survive, like Days Tire Pros in Crestview. In addition to tires with a national warranty, they have a complete car care center, providing brake jobs, front end and rear end alignments, oil change, lube and filter, shocks, belts, air conditioning, and so much more. Days is located where they've been for nearly 4 decades of service on Highway 85 South, which is also home to Pack Rat Mini Storage. The phone number, 850-682-5088. Thanks, Kim and staff, for your support. Days Tire Pros, home of the hassle-free guarantee.
And welcome back to Baker High School, and now here's Seth.
So Baker football is a production of Jock Jive Sports. This fall on JockJive.com, Georgia Military College Football, SIAC Football, the Great American Rivalries, ACCC Game of the Week, SWAC Volleyball and Soccer, Tuskegee Football, Navarre and Baker Football, and much, much more. Be sure to follow Jock Jive on Twitter and Facebook. On Twitter, we're at Jock Jive, and on Facebook, simply put Jock Jive Sports in the search engine. We give you scores, schedules, game highlights, event updates, and more. Twitter and Facebook, a great way to keep up with Jock Jive Sports. And also, if you have family that are not able to listen on the radio or out of state, they can go to Jock Jive Sports on YouTube.com and listen to us live there as well.
It is 2nd down and 5 for Rocky at the Baker 42-yard line. The clock is rolling, 6:28 to go until the half. They trail 35-0. Handoff, quarterback keeper, Gravenger's across the 40-yard line to about the 39 before being tackled once again by Joshua Gamble.
And great read that time by the Baker defense. It's a simple read option. That time the defensive ends close on the running back, so Gravenger keeps it, tries to go up the middle, but Gamble does not bite, wraps him up, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and short. And this may be the shortest 3rd down that Rocky Bayou has faced all night.
It is 3rd and about 2. The ball at the Baker 39-yard line. 5:49 to go until the half. Baker on top 35-0. Again, shotgun formation for Rocky Bayou. There's the snap. It's to Balthazar. He fumbles the ball. He's going to be brought down quickly. And making the tackle was Joseph Ritchie, along with number 25, Seth Blahuda, and several other Gators back there, Seth. I believe Nolan Watson was back there, but just a great defensive push by that second-string offensive line, and that's no reflection on the Gators when you say second string. It's just these are younger players,
right,
not quite as seasoned as the first stringers, the starters, but nonetheless, what a great play there. So now Rocky facing 4th and 12 from the 50-yard line. They're going for it here. And Gravenger back in a quarterback, throwing the ball downfield. He's got a man, but he is quickly the pass knocked away. And I believe that may have been, is that number 8, Ashton Morrison?
Yes.
So a great play by Ashton Morrison knocking that ball away on 4th down. And a great pass there by Gravenger trying to hit his man. And just a great defensive play by Morrison.
Yeah, Gravenger with a solid arm trying to hit his wide receiver there on that streak route. And just Ashton Morrison making a great play, getting his hands up, batting the ball away, and holding them on this 4th down to give his offense the ball back.
I believe the pass was intended for Will Ferguson. Clock is rolling at 4:10 until the half. Baker 35, Rocky nothing. And now your new quarterback looks to be Joe Brunson.
He hands off to Trey Colmetz. Just a simple dive play up the middle, a zone run up the middle. And he's brought down quickly, about a 2-yard gain, but good to see the likes of Colmetz and Brunson, that nice little duo in the backfield.
2nd down 8 from the Rocky 48. Shotgun and high snap. Brunson gets it down, hands off to Colmetz, and he takes 3 of them, but they bring him down after a short run by Trey Colmetz.
Yeah, just about the same kind of run, and he's trying to bounce it outside that time, but Rocky defense closed on him quick. It's going to bring up a 3rd and fairly long for the Gators, but I think we're going to have an official timeout here.
Well, there was an injured Rocky Bayou player, but he is up and going off on his own power. In fact, that's the center, Josh Jackson. But that's always a good sign to see them go off on their own power. 3:19 to go until the half. 35-0 Baker, now facing 3rd and 7 from the Rocky 47. And Joe Brunson is in at quarterback. Shotgun formation. Trey Colmetz is a running back. And this time Joe keeps the ball. He's across the 45, the 40. He's still going. The 35. And still going. And finally shoved out by Tyler Powell. But a first down run for Joe Brunson on that right side. He gets down to about the Rocky 32-yard line.
Great run there by Joe Brunson. It's a little read option play. The entire defensive line closes in on the run, gives Brunson the outside edge. He runs around. He uses several little stutter steps, just some little head bobs, some little shiftiness with his feet, makes a few guys miss, and then takes up the sideline. 1st
and 10 from the Rocky 32-yard line. Joe Brunson in shotgun and hands off to Trey Colmetz. And Trey bouncing off the left side there. And he's finally pulled down near the 27-yard line after about a 5-yard run. So Trey Colmetz showing that power and speed of his own.
And, you know, we're talking about it's the second string in, but that just shows the depth of this Gator team, that several guys deep. You have Trey Colmetz and Joe Brunson in now for Rockwell and McLaughlin, and still just making great plays. Super impressive guys. Colmetz there picking up a good 6 yards on first down.
Now the offensive line, Dustin Oglesby is still the quarterback. But on this right tackle is Charlie Elliott, and trying to get the rest of them for you in just a minute. And this time Colmetz right side to the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5, and finally shoved out of bounds near the 5-yard line. That time he's taken out of bounds by number 57, Christian Nees.
And Colmetz just running off that right tackle. The O-line gets some great blocks, sets the edge, and then Colmetz just using that speed and shiftiness to get up the sideline and get inside the 10-yard line.
Zach Livingston is on that line along with Ethan Cadenhead and Blake Lawson. The only starter is still the center, Dustin Oglesby. It is 1st and goal. The ball is just inside the 10 with a minute to go until the half. Joe Brunson hands off to Trey Colmetz. Trey Colmetz busts to that line, and he's down close to the goal line but stopped just shy. And now the clock is under a minute, 51 seconds to go. If they want to punch it in here, Seth, they're going to have to hurry up. Play clock is at 22, but the game clock at 44. And Joe Brunson looking to the sideline as well with Trey.
No rush.
Also in there is Chris Comey on the for the Gators.
Absolutely no rush from this Gator offense.
Yeah. Kevin Garrett is split wide right, along with, I believe that's Ashton Morrison now, or excuse me, it's in score. No, it is Morrison. Timeout's taken with 23 seconds to go into the half. 35-0 Baker back after this.
Milligan Assembly of God is a proud sponsor of Baker Gator football. Our service times are on Sundays at 9:30 for Sunday school, 10:30 for morning worship, and 6 p.m. for Sunday night explosion. Our midweek service is on Wednesday nights starting at 7 p.m., and there's something for every age group of the family. You can connect with us at mag.church, and you can check us out on Facebook. From Pastor Mike White and the congregation of Milligan Assembly of God, we want to say,
Go Gators, yeah!
And welcome back to Baker. Both teams with 2 timeouts left until the half, but there's only 23 seconds to go. And Baker on top 35-0. Second down and goal. The ball is at about the 1-yard line. Joe Brunson is the new quarterback. In the backfield with him is Trey Colmetz. And it's Colmetz over the goal line. Touchdown, Baker Gators. So the second-string quarterback and running back come in, and they show what they can do. And Seth is homecoming, and you can't expect these guys just to lay down, and they want to show what they can do, not just to Coach Brunson, but also to their family and friends and fans here. And what a great drive there from the Baker Gators.
Yeah, and, you talk about, like, taking the foot off the throttle when teams, they kind of abandon the passing game and switch to mostly run. Baker is almost 100% run, so they can't really step off their game any more than what they're doing. They're just a powerful bunch of runners, and that's what they do. And Colmetz showing that he's one of the great backs on this team as well. Drives downfield and scores a touchdown for himself.
And ironically, the one pass that Baker throws tonight is intercepted.
Correct.
Okay, we're set for the extra point. Once again, Brian Holly is the kicker. Nathan Fleming is the holder. Gets the ball down. Again, the kick is up and perfect. And that's the end of the first half. Your halftime score is Baker 42, Rocky Bayou nothing. We'll take a break and be back with our halftime show after this.
WTJT would like to send a special thanks to CCSI of Crestview, Florida. It's businesses like you, through all your support, that makes this live coverage of the Baker Gators Friday Night Football possible.
Attention WTJT listeners. For us to stay on the air, it takes the support of friends like Baker Tire Center. Baker Tire Center is now a Goodyear tire dealer, but they still have a wide range and variety of all the different brands. From economy to luxury tires, from street to mud tires, they handle all tire needs, including flat repairs, mount and balance, rotate and balance, alignments, brake pads, shocks, tune-ups, AC work, and much more. Baker Tire Center also offers standard synthetic and diesel oil changes, as well as transmission, coolant, power steering, and brake services. Baker Tire Center is located at 5768 Highway 4 in Baker, and the phone number is 850-537-4002. Open Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 5, 7 to 12 on Saturday. Available on Google and Facebook. Baker Tire Center, now a Goodyear tire dealer in Baker, offering 12-month interest-free financing and a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty.
WTJT would like to thank Jason Norton and Baker Metalworks for allowing us to bring live Baker Gator football coverage to the listeners of WTJT. Baker Metalworks offers a large variety of colors, and they are all Energy Star rated. They have 4 profile styles with 29 and 26 gauge. They also have delivery available, and all of their materials are Florida product approved. Baker Metalworks is located at 5846 Highway 189 in Baker. They can be reached by phone at 850-537-2010. Thanks again to Baker Metalworks for all of your support here at WTJT.
It's time for ESPN 106.7's SEC Report, your year-round connection to Southeastern Conference sports. Now, the latest headlines and happenings from around the SEC. This is ESPN 106.7's SEC Report.
It is Will Shuddy. It is Dan Peck. Dan, what should we talk about? College football or what's going on today?
What was option 2 going to be?
I don't know. I was going to let you decide.
Okay, we can stick with college football, and if something else comes up, we'll be watching The Wire, and if any big news and anything else comes up, we'll let you know. Yeah.
All right.
Hold on, real quick before we get into college football. Braves going to hang on. How you feeling?
5.5 game lead with 7 games left against the Phillies, so they got to win 3 out of those 7. And that's a clinch. And they do still have a series against the Mets, too, so that could help. But
is it 4 with the Phillies this weekend?
4 with the Phillies in Atlanta this weekend, and then 3 to finish the season at Citizens Bank next week. But the hope is it is already over by the time they go to Citizens Bank.
The NL East could be close to over at the end of this weekend. The NL East could be a very interesting race at the end of this weekend, depending on what happens in Atlanta.
Phillies got to have a big series. See,
yeah,
my hope
biggest series of the season.
My hope is that the Braves can not only win the division but edge out the Dodgers for second best record in the National League, because that means they'll play Game 2 of the NLDS on a Friday, 2 weeks from tomorrow. So I'm trying to go to that, but they got to have a better record than the Dodgers to do that.
They would need.
They're a half game behind right now.
And if it looks like the Central champion is going to be the 1 seed. And then whoever finishes a better record between the Dodgers and the Braves will be your 2.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the NL is wide open right now. Like, it seems like for the last few years we've had a powerhouse team coming down the stretch.
If you're a baseball fan this year, you're watching the National League, not the American League, right?
Well, the American League is just like there are 4 or 5 teams that are.
Once you get to the playoffs, you'll watch it. But I'm saying, like, the last 4 months, it's been decided who's going to be there.
No, you had a pretty good sense 6 weeks into the season, with the possible exception of Oakland. You had a real good sense in the American League of who was good and who was bad, and it's played out that way. In the National League, I mean, at the All-Star break, there were probably 2 or 3 teams in the National League that didn't think they were going to make the playoffs, and everyone else. I mean, the Pirates were buyers at the trade deadline.
Yep.
I mean, this was,
and that blew up in their face.
It did, and it was probably a mistake for a variety of reasons. But this is this is a heck of a pennant race, and there's just no telling what the playoffs are going to look like. I mean, I'm still kind of leaning towards the Cubs just because I like what they've got in the lineup, but I think the pitching could fail them, especially in a 7-game series, especially against
Cole Hamels had a tough time last night,
especially against the Dodgers. If the Dodgers got past the Braves, I mean, that would be.
I think I'd put the Dodgers as the favorite again right now to come out and make the World Series. But anyway,
they've made some good moves. Muncy and Dozier. I mean, they've added some pieces to a good team last year. They need Kershaw healthy, but other than that, I mean, you got to think LA's the team to beat.
Postseason starts, and I think it's less than 2 weeks now, so looking forward to that. But back to college football, we've got beef between 2 head coaches. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Is this the he can come see me if you've got a problem, Derek Mason?
Brian Kelly and Derek Mason going back and forth. So I guess, and this has been a topic the last couple of years. You hear coaches complain about it. The whole cut blocking thing. Georgia Tech, it's a big thing with them a lot of the time.
Fix the rule, or keep your mouth shut.
If it's in the rules, you can do it. So Brian Kelly upset after the Notre Dame Vanderbilt game, where Notre Dame just holds on to win that one in South Bend last weekend, saying, I think the quote was that Vanderbilt played bad football. He even said it was legal, but he didn't like the cut blocking.
He didn't say it was legal at first either. He said it was bad football, and then someone asked him if what they were doing was illegal, and he said it's legal. Well, by the rule book, it's allowed. And it's like, well, then what are you complaining about?
Well, he said it was malicious intent, and according to NCAA rules, blocks below the waist must come within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage and come from the front of the player being blocked unless the block is delivered by an interior lineman. And Derek Mason comes back saying basically he can keep on moving, or he can come see me if he has that much of a problem with it.
Come see me.
And then he even came back with this, which wasn't in the headlines. He said, I don't care much about Brian Kelly's comments about football. From the holding to the post chops by Notre Dame, I thought it was bad football on their part also.
Well, did you see?
So, I mean, this is probably the biggest beef we've had between coaches this year.
I wish they were. I wish they were like in the same conference, and this could be a thing that we rehash and run back, and probably not going to be the case.
Does Notre Dame come to Vanderbilt now? Is that a home and home?
Do they? I thought they already played at Vanderbilt. Is that not?
I don't remember.
Okay, maybe not. I thought the Notre Dame Vanderbilt. I'll check Notre Dame's schedule in the next couple of years. I didn't think there was another Notre Dame Vanderbilt game on the horizon. But did you see one of the plays in question with the Notre Dame would send? It's kind of an Auburn-esque play on offense where Notre Dame would send an H-back or someone in a blocking role would kind of be pulling from the left to right or right to left and try to engage a defensive lineman with a running back running outside behind him, and he's the blocker on that lineman. And the defensive ends, I guess, to avoid getting blocked by someone who got a running start and is coming right at them, they are legally, even if the play seems dirty, they're diving right at the knees of the player coming to block them and upending them. There's a couple plays where the Notre Dame tight end, and to me,
doesn't sound like the safest thing.
Well, no, but if a guy can legally do that, you need to come up with a different approach as a tight end. Mm-hmm. You can't be barreling full speed at a guy like that if he can dive at your knees and take you out. You need to be prepared for that. And being prepared for that is not having your coach go in front of the media and complain about how mean-spirited Vanderbilt was after the game. I mean, you need to be ready for legal ways to counter what your offense is doing. And what Notre Dame, what Vanderbilt was employing, it's a different issue if you don't think it should be legal. But right now it is. And, I'm not – if you want to complain about the NCAA not changing that rule and you're Brian Kelly, like, I'm listening. I'm okay with that. Don't criticize another coach for employing something legal to try to stop your offense. That's not – I'm not – he can come see me if he doesn't like that. I'm right there with Derek Mason.
He can come see Brian Kelly. Can come see Dan. That's an open invitation if you are listening. All right, let's talk about Vanderbilt some then as we start. He's definitely listening.
On, okay,
my bad. Brian Kelly is a regular
friend of the show.
I've never talked to him, but I guess he's a friend of Dan. All right, let's talk about Vanderbilt as we start previewing this weekend while we're on the subject. So going into the season, I mean, Vanderbilt still looked at as the doormat of the SEC. Could still turn out that way. If you remember 3 weeks into last season, Vanderbilt was 3-0. and then played that game against Alabama, and everything went downhill from there. But I think Vanderbilt, Arkansas were considered as the two doormat teams going into the year. 3 weeks into the season, we're not really considering those to even be close. Arkansas looks a lot worse than Vanderbilt. We even talked about Vanderbilt, really impressive that they had a real shot to win that game at Notre Dame last week. What are your thoughts with Vanderbilt, South Carolina? South Carolina going to Nashville to Vanderbilt Stadium this week, and what can we really expect out of Vanderbilt for the whole season now? And have you changed your expectations on them?
You know, I am more willing to, and I bought into Vanderbilt a little bit last year in the build up to the Alabama game. Not as a team that could win, but as a team that could compete in some SEC East games. And I guess they did. You know, they beat some teams at the end of the season, right? They
not last year.
Did they not
2 years ago?
Vanderbilt?
Well, they beat Tennessee.
They beat Tennessee at the end of the season. That's right. I was thinking
I think they won 3, lost 8 in a row, and then beat Tennessee.
Narrowly lost a couple of those too. I mean, the Florida. That's another one where if you go back and look at Florida going 4-8 in 2017, one of those wins is the Tennessee Hail Mary. One of those wins is coming back from down 13 against Kentucky when Kentucky doesn't cover receivers in the fourth quarter. One of those wins is against Vanderbilt when Florida has to convert a 4th and short on their own territory to protect a 6-point lead. And I think they end up like late in the game, it's a 4th and 1, and they end up popping that for a touchdown. And so they win by double digits. But they were very close to giving Vanderbilt the ball back with a chance to. I mean, Florida almost went like 1-12.
Just keep bashing the Gators.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, yeah. I mean, Dancing Dan Mullen. You know, he's got.
Last year.
He's got a lot. I know, but he's got a lot of work to do this year. But I just look at Vanderbilt and think like they weren't that far off from being.
They looked really bad in some games.
They looked really bad. No, they got blown off the field a couple of times. I'm not gonna argue with that. I mean, there were times when Vanderbilt was clearly overmatched. This year, I don't think with an SEC East schedule,
Shermer looks good. Like he looks like a legitimate quarterback.
Does he look better than Jake Bentley through this point in the season?
Through this point in the season, but Bentley's only played 2 games,
and one of them was against Georgia.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like the most.
Vanderbilt has that one still coming.
That's right. Speaking of which, Notre Dame goes to Georgia next year. That's
right.
That's on the 2019.
Right.
I think they played a Vanderbilt Georgia game in Nashville like earlier this year or earlier this decade. If they didn't do that, then it was just the one-off with Vanderbilt. Okay. But Vanderbilt is not.
I don't remember the other.
Vanderbilt is not on Notre Dame's schedule. Anytime soon. So
we don't get the rematch
unless they make the playoff. There's not going to be a Vanderbilt Notre Dame game anytime soon.
If Vandy's still alive, one loss to Notre Dame won't take you out of the playoffs.
I sort of like Vanderbilt this weekend at home against South Carolina. I just think I know South Carolina's trying to get that.
Does it help or hurt that South Carolina didn't play last week when they were supposed to? Because you get the rest, but at the same time, you almost wanted that game against Marshall to figure some things out, didn't you?
I think it would have been great for South Carolina to go play because of how badly they were beaten by Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to get that sort of to get that taste out of your mouth and to get to get something in a positive direction going for your team. Like that would have been a nice thing for them. Instead, they the last time they took the field was when Georgia came to Columbia and conquered them. So it's like, I don't know. I wonder what South Carolina team will show up. I mean, this is a team that people look at and still think should be the second best team in the SEC East. But Vanderbilt's coming on strong and played Notre Dame tough. And as you said, Shermer's playing good football. For some reason, I kind of like Vanderbilt at home this weekend.
Other big news out of college football, getting out of the SEC again real quick. Did you see Nick Bosa? It looks like could be out for the season, indefinitely at least, with that injury from last week. What does that do for Ohio State?
Well, you always get nervous when a guy comes back not without his pads on in the second half of a game, when he's going to come watch the game on the sideline out of uniform, because that's usually an indication that something's really bad, just because if he know, he's going to have to get used to being in that position where he's not dressed out, watching the game on the sideline. I think Ohio State looks loaded, so the individual loss of even a player as great as Bosa, even a guy who looks like a top 5 draft pick and one of the nation's top defensive linemen, it's still not enough to sink percept. It's that alone doesn't really change how I view what Ohio State can do game to game. But there could be, especially in a big game. If they go to Penn State, there could be a situation. We just saw Auburn in desperate need of a pass rusher in crucial moments over the weekend. Where's
Jeff?
If Ohio State goes, no joke. If Ohio State,
he's on the Broncos practice squad.
If Ohio State is in a close one against a team like Penn State or Michigan State or Michigan, I could see them really wishing they had a dominant pass rusher to get that other team off the field. And now someone else is going to have to step up. I mean, it's a talented roster, so you think there are other players ready to go get the quarterback. But the longer they go, I mean, they will miss Bosa in a big game against a good team. They probably won't need him against your Rutgerses and your Illinois and your some of the dregs of the Big Ten. But in a big matchup, which is what Ohio State's going to have to do to get to the playoff
this weekend against Tulane.
Not quite.
Okay.
Not quite. More in a couple of weeks. Yeah. When they go to Penn State, if they don't have Bosa back, his absence could be felt.
Hi, this is Tony from Baker Feed and Country Store. The Baker Gator football season is back, and we are proud supporters of WTJT's live Baker Gator football program. Baker Feed and Country Store has all your fall food plot, seed, and fertilizer needs, along with corn, rice bran, pellets, and blocks. We carry Justin boots, belts, wallets, and Wrangler jeans. Baker Feed and Country Store is located on the right at the light in downtown Baker and can be reached by phone 537-1000. Again, that's 537-1000. Go Gators!
WTJT and the Baker Gators are proud to recognize Baker Parts in downtown Baker as a sponsor of live coverage of Baker Gator football. Baker Parts has auto parts and hardware for all household needs. Baker Parts is located at 1304 Georgia Avenue in Baker, and their phone number is 537-3131 or 537-4231. Thanks, Danny, and all the staff at Baker Parts for helping to make coverage of Baker Gator football possible on WTJT. WTJT would like to say thank you to the Okaloosa County Teachers Federal Credit Union for supporting our coverage of Baker Gator football. Okaloosa County Teachers Federal Credit Union offers a wide variety of financial services with 4 locations, including the Baker branch location at the entrance to Baker School next to the Gator Cafe. They can be reached at 850-537-9815 or on the web at OkaloosaFCU.org. You can be a member of the credit union if you live, work, or worship, or attend school in Okaloosa County. For all your financial needs, it's Okaloosa County Teachers Federal Credit Union. Achieving goals together. Thank you, Brackney Funeral Service in Crestview, for your support. Brackney Funeral Service is located on Highway 90 East. They are locally owned and operated and provide all the traditional funeral services, including burials and cremations. And the telephone number is 683-9898, 683-9898. Terry Brackney is the funeral director. Again, thanks, Terry and Brackney Funeral Service for giving to WTJT.
And welcome back to Baker High School inside Doug Griffith Memorial Stadium. It is homecoming and it's halftime, and it's Baker 42, Rocky Bayou nothing. I have a few scores to pass along to you. In the second quarter, it is Mosley 22, Fort Walton nothing. And from Niceville, they are behind Catholic of South Florida 7-0 at the half. And one that may be interesting to our fans is J8, Escambia Academy nothing in the second quarter. And here is 42-0. And now with some information for you, here's Seth.
All right, so we're going to keep this kind of brief. So every week I like to talk about some of my keys to the game for each team. We'll start with Baker again. Number 1, getting the ball to McLaughlin. Tonight, first half was about as good as you can ask. Just about every time he touched the ball, he was in the end zone. Probably had less than 10 rushes, and over half of those, he took them to the house. 4 touchdowns on the night. Just an impressive night. All season, he's been great. 678 yards all-purpose, 553 rushing, 124 punt return, 6 touchdowns on the ground, and 2 special teams touchdowns. So McLaughlin has been the key. He was the number 1, and he did what he was supposed to do. Number 2, limiting penalties. Offensively, the Gators, I don't believe, have had any penalties on the offense, except for one ineligible receiver downfield that didn't matter because it was on the interception. But the offense has not stalled themselves with penalties, so that's been great for them. Defense has had a few offsides penalties, but again, with their skill, it hasn't hurt them. Number 3, play sound ball in the secondary. All the passes that Rocky has thrown have been deflected away. They haven't been able to complete any passes tonight. So the secondary is doing exactly what it was supposed to do. Staying on their assignments, breaking up passes, doing what they need to do. And number 4, spreading the love offensively. So Baker has done that tonight. When McLaughlin hasn't gotten the ball, his backups have done just what they're supposed to do with Colemetz and Brunson now and the rest of this second-string Gator offense. They've all done phenomenal. So Baker has lived up to exactly what it needed to do to have a 42-0 lead coming into the third quarter.
And a new kicker for the Gators. And that is number 57. And he's kicked sort of a semi-pooch kick. And it's taken by Balthazar, and he pays for it at his 30-yard line as he was hit hard and quick by the kickoff team.
Yeah, that was led by Caleb Simpler. Just absolutely wrapped him up and put him in the ground.
So the running clock, I believe, is in effect here. 42-0 Baker as we get in the third quarter. And Seth, a lot of new faces and clean jerseys out there for the Baker Gators in this second half.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the time to get these guys some experience, let them get some playing time, and just game experience in general is going to be invaluable to this team because this is definitely a team that looks like they are ready to make a postseason run, and it's good to have all their guys with some playing time.
Back to pass, Rocky Bayou. That's Grabinger going downfield, trying to hit Balthazar, and he was covered by Eric Arias, and it falls incomplete. Second down, 10 for Rocky Bayou, and there's a flag in the backfield. Yeah,
and that might have been a roughing the passer on the Gator defense there. Got to Grabinger just a touch late. So, again, it's the defense that's actually committing more of the penalties tonight, and that's going to give Rocky Bayou an advantage there as they're going to hit midfield.
It is 1st and 10. Rocky Bayou at midfield on this roughing the passer penalty. Grabinger stays in at quarterback. Aaron Grabinger is quarterback for Rocky Bayou. Clock is rolling. 10:30 left in the third quarter. 35-0 or 42-0 Baker on top. There's the snap. Fakes the handoff. Keeps the ball. Runs into just a team full of Gators. Leading the charge was John Metalaska with help from Joshua Gamble and just several others, Seth, on that tackle. Is no gain, no loss. It is 1st and 10 from midfield. Or actually giving forward progress to the Baker 49. 2nd down 9 for the Knights.
Yeah, just trying to run them. It looked like there might have been some confusion between the quarterback and his running back. It looked like for a minute he really did want to give the ball off to his running back who wasn't ready to receive it, so he has to hold on to it and try to find any sort of space, and there was just none there.
Yeah, William Murray was the running back. Now Grabinger back to pass. Short pass out to Balthazar. He catches that midfield. He's to the 45. Now he drops the ball. It's loose, and the Gators have recovered. And it was recovered by Shane White for the Gators. So a really great catch by Balthazar, but he is popped and fumbles that ball forward. And then great heads-up play by Shane White to recover for Baker at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, Balthazar on that wide receiver screen is trying to make some guys miss, trying to make anything happen out of this play. And like you said, he just takes a lick, can't hold on to the football, and Gator defense falls on it quick.
And the clock rolling. We're under 9 minutes in the third quarter. Baker 42, Rocky Bayou nothing. And now Sam Croson comes in at quarterback. In the backfield with him is Garen Mitchum, who takes the handoff. And Mitchum was across the 40-yard line and then tripped up at the 42. Tackle is made by Rocky Bayou. That's number 55, Dylan Rodriguez.
Yeah, good tackle there by Rodriguez, breaking through the line and finding Garen Mitchum and stopping him for a short gain.
It is a 2-yard pickup, 2nd down, 8 from the 42-yard line, 8:21 to go in the third quarter. Again, Sam Croson quarterback in shotgun. And again, handoff goes to Garen Mitchum, and Garen Mitchum just pushes his way, bullies his way up through that defensive line. And tackle is made by number 51. That's Brandon Johnson for Rocky Bayou. A yard pickup by Guerin, and it's now 3rd down 7 for the Gators.
And Guerin, reminiscent of, I don't know if you remember Billy the Bull Watmo. He's got a very similar body type, just a strong, powerful runner, kind of small, kind of stocky, but very strong. And just, like you said, bulls his way up to the middle there for a yard or two.
Again, Guerin Mitchell on the handoff, and takes a couple of nights to bring him down at the 45-yard line. Going to bring up 4th and 5 now for the Gators.
It looks like the offense is going to stay out there on the field as Croson is not heading back to the sideline. Or he's warming up his kicking leg.
Very true. 7:21 to go in the 3rd quarter. 4th and 5, Baker from the 45. Sam Croson does stay in a quarterback, but it could be, it's snap back to Gary Mitchum with a little quick kick that rolls down close to the Rocky Bayou 20-yard line. Not exactly a beautiful punt, but it's effective. And pins Rocky Bayou back inside their 20-yard line. Clock is still rolling. 6:51 to go in the 3rd quarter. Baker 42, Rocky Bayou nothing.
There's a very curious play call there with Gary Mitchum as in the running back sliding into direct snap to him. And like you said, just gets off that little quick punt. It's kind of low, but it's a good driving punt, and it's going to go deep into Rocky's territory.
So now Rocky Bayou 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Clock rolling, 6:25 in the 3rd quarter. They trail 42 to nothing. And Seth, there's some confusion now on the Rocky offense. And the timeout has been taken, which does stop the clock at 6:22. Baker 42, Rocky nothing. Back after this.
One of our sponsors this year for our live coverage of Baker Gator varsity football is Wise Equipment in Crestview. Wise Equipment specializes in sales and services of Kubota and John Deere mowers and tractors. They carry Steel and John Deere chainsaws, line trimmers, and blowers. Plus, they have John Deere toys. All products are backed by a manufacturer's warranty. Wise Equipment is located at 1147 South Purdon Boulevard in Crestview and can be reached at 850-682-3366.
And welcome back to Baker High School. Doug Griffith Memorial Stadium. It is homecoming 2018. Baker on top of Rocky Bayou 42 to nothing in the 3rd quarter with 6:22 to play in the 3rd quarter. And next week we will travel to Jay for the infamous War of Highway 4. A long-time rivalry between Jay and Baker. And last score we had Jay over Escambia Academy 8 to nothing in the 2nd quarter. They beat Rocky Bayou earlier this year 52 to nothing, and Baker on pace to surpass that. Shotgun formation. Again, quarterback keeper right side. And it gets across the 25. And tackle made by number 25. That's Seth Blahuda for the Gators.
Great job by Blahuda coming from that defensive end position. He just has quick eyes, finds Grabinger, and brings him down. But Grabinger with a decent run on 1st down.
5-yard run, 2nd down 5 from the 25-yard line. 5:36 to play, 3rd quarter. There's a snap again to the left side, goes Grabinger. Cuts back inside. He's hit at the 30 by number 72, Charlie Elliott, who brings him down. And he's going to be very close, if not a 1st down. It is 1st down Rocky Bayou at the 31. So Rocky, I believe that maybe their 2nd, or at least their 2nd or 3rd 1st down tonight.
Yeah, not too many tonight, but Grabinger there showing off some legs. Like you said, makes a nice cut back inside. And the Gator defense is able to bring him down, but not before he's able to pick up a 1st down.
Under 5 minutes in the 3rd quarter, Baker 42 to nothing over Rocky Bayou. Grabinger drops the ball, picks it up, trying to find somewhere to go, breaks one tackle, hits across the 30, the 35, and finally forced out of bounds about the 46, 47-yard line, or excuse me, the 45-yard line. But it's positive yardage for Grabinger, who bobbled that snap, dropped it, and picks it up and makes positive yardage.
Yeah, great awareness and hands by Grabinger there. The ball might be a little bit slick tonight, so there might have been just a touch of rain today, so some of that's a little bit slick to handle, but he's able to maintain it and then set the edge, get outside, and pick up a few yards and make a negative a positive.
about 3 yards on the run. It is 2nd down 7 from the Rocky 35-yard line. 4:10 to play, third quarter. Again, quarterback, keeper right side for Grabner. Cuts it back in, but nowhere to go. And brought down by Baker. And again, I believe it's Seth Blahuda who makes the tackle and brings him down, gets some help from Ethan Cadenhead. It's about a yard pickup. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 6 for Rocky Bayou from their 36-yard line.
And Grabner's trying to get outside there, following the blocks of his receivers in Isaiah Dermont and I believe Frank Taylor, but then he cuts back in and goes right back into the teeth of that Gator defense, and they just absolutely stuff him.
3rd down, 6. Grabinger left side this time and finds a little bit of room. He's across midfield before being forced out of bounds on that far side, and no flags, so it should be another Rocky Bayou first down. And finally, late in the third quarter, 3:15 to go, and they are finally moving that ball down the field.
Yeah, another good run by Grabinger, and he's just been the playmaker for this offense in limited ways, but still they're able to get outside, pick up a first down. They're going to be close to midfield, and this is what Rocky needs to do: build some momentum, put together a nice drive, and keep moving that ball downfield to be able to pull something positive from this game.
It is 1st and 10, Rocky from their 46. They trail 42-0 with 2:44 to go in the third quarter. Again, shotgun. This time, or Wildcats, Balthazar, who tries that left side, but he is met in the backfield and pulled down quickly. Great tackle that time by Zach Livingston. And I believe Seth Blahuda also in over there on the tackle as well.
Yeah, correct. Trying to run that Wildcat. And Balthazar had been one of the playmakers as well for Rocky this year, very much on special teams and also as a good receiver. That time running from the Wildcat. He's trying to find some space to the outside, but the speed of Livingston and Blahuda, they close on him quick, and they're going to bring him down for a short loss.
It is 2nd down and 12. The ball is back at the 44-yard line. We're under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. There's a snap. Again, right side for Balthazar. He slips but catches himself, and now he breaks loose, and he's close to the 50-yard line. And tackle this time is made by Charlie Elliott for the Baker Gators. And Balthazar close to midfield, about the 49-yard line, will bring up 3rd down and about 7 yards to go.
Yeah, great job that time by Charlie Elliott playing in that nose guard position as Balthazar tries to cut back inside. He's met by the big fellow who brings him down, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and long for this Rocky offense. Might see another pass here.
1:15 left in this third quarter. And now it looks like a timeout will be taken by Rocky Bayou. 1:06 to go, third quarter. Baker 42-0 back after this.
We are proud to acknowledge the support of Whitehurst Powell Funeral Home in Crestview. They are a family-owned and operated funeral home, open 7 days a week, and can handle all funeral needs. Plus, they offer advanced planning. Whitehurst Powell is also home to the Southern Heritage Crematory. They are located at 436 James Lee Boulevard, and the phone number is 850-682-3052. Owner Andy Powell is committed to caring for you in your time of need, and is also proud to help make coverage of Baker Gator football possible.
And welcome back to Baker High School. Timeout by Rocky Bayou. It's Baker 42 and Rocky Bayou nothing. And at halftime over in Crestview, the Bulldogs are on top of West Florida Tech 21-7. And now Baker back on the field and awaiting Rocky Bayou. Facing 3rd down and 7 from the 49, and I want to say thanks to our youth pastor, Jesse Jernigan, for all the encouragement he sends you and I every week. Jesse, thank you so much.
We appreciate you.
3rd down, 7, again, shotgun formation, and the snap goes through his legs. Grabinger picks it up, tries to make somewhere, and he's going to be brought down quickly by Joseph Ritchie, who was taking a piggyback ride on Grabinger and brings him down way back inside the 30-yard line, but the ball goes right through his legs, picks it up, tries to do something with it, but just nowhere to go.
And Ritchie just came at him like a train, absolutely demolishes the quarterback, hits him, and throws him to the ground. So now 4th and a good mile here, and I think Balthazar is going to attempt another punt tonight.
So you're saying he derailed Gravenger like a train?
That's about right.
It is 4th and about a mile for the Rocky Bayou Knights back at their 30-yard line, and we're down to the final 7 seconds of this third quarter. No one back and no one rushing, and they let Balthazar get off a good punt. It rolls inside Baker territory, rolls down to about the 30-yard line, and no one back and no rush. That Seth really more or less showing some mercy, and you got to respect Coach Brunson. And it's no reflection on Rocky Bayou, but Matt just showing just really a lot of respect for Rocky Bayou.
Absolutely.
That's the end of the third quarter. At the end of 3, the score stays Baker 42, Rocky Bayou nothing. Back after this.
WTJT would like to thank Harris Fence of Baker, Florida for their support of WTJT and live coverage of Baker Gator football. Harris Fence offers a wide range of fencing services and supplies which include chain link, galvanized or vinyl coated, wood, privacy or picket, PVC, privacy, 3-rail, etc., and ornamental aluminum. They also offer various styles and brands. They do residential, commercial, and industrial work as well as offer free estimates and military and senior citizen discounts. Harris Fence is fully licensed and insured, and they have been serving Okaloosa, Walton, and Santa Rosa County for 21 years with 35 years experience. They are also a member of the Better Business Bureau. Harris Fence is located at 1588 Garrett Mill Road in Baker, Florida, and they can also be contacted by phone at 537-6169. Thanks again to Harris Fence and James and Rebecca Harris for your support of WTJT and our local football team.
And welcome back. The clock already rolling, Seth. 11:25 to go in the ball game, and Sam Croson hands off to Trey Colmath, and Trey Colmath runs into a round table of Knights, and he is dropped at the 30-yard line. Or excuse me, that was not Trey Colmath. That was Nolan Watson. My bad.
Yeah, great job by that Rocky defensive line, showing some life, saying, we're still here, we're still going to fight, and we're still going to try to stop you, and that time they did.
Second down 10 for Baker from their 30-yard line. 10:55 to go in the ball game. They're up 42-0. Now Sam Croson fakes a handoff around the right side. 35, 40-yard line, 45, and finally pulled out of bounds by number 57 for Rocky. That is Christian Neese. But a great run by Sam Croson, and he jumps right back up. Could have been hurt there, but great run by Sam Croson.
Yeah, Croson showing, he's the backup quarterback, but just still has some great speed, great awareness, gets around the edge, follows a great block by his wide receiver, Eric Arias there, and gets up the sideline. Another first down for the Gators.
A 16-yard run. It is 1st and 10. Baker from their 46. 10-13 to go in the ball game. They lead 42-0. And the ball goes through Sam's hand, but it's picked up quickly by Seth Blahuda. And Blahuda trying to make something out of it. And he's hit back near the line of scrimmage. But it could have been really just a terrible play there for the Gators. The snap goes right through Sam's hands, but alert play by Seth Blahuda to pick it up.
Yeah, Blahuda keeping his head on a swivel, sees the ball hit the ground, going through his quarterback's legs, picks it up, and is actually able to take the ball almost back to the original line of scrimmage. Only a short loss there, about 2nd and 11.
It is 2nd down 11 from the 45. This time a good snap. Sam hands off to Blahuda, and Blahuda is just hogtied about the 46-yard line. Almost just a collar tackle there, but it gets to the 46. Now it's 3rd down 10 for Baker.
Yeah, Jacob Perry coming from that tackle position just gets his arm around Blahuda there and brings him down right about the line of scrimmage. So Rocky defensive line showing some teeth up there in the middle.
9 minutes, 3rd down 10. Again, handoff goes to Blahuda. He busts through that line, picks up maybe about 2 or 3 yards, but it's going to bring up 4th down for the Gators. And now Garrett Mitchum comes in, and possibly another one of those effective punts.
A different kind of punt, almost a rugby style like we talked about. So a little short, it's kind of low hanging, but still got some good distance.
And the clock is rolling, 8:35, and this time Garrett Mitchum gets off a really nice punt, and it's caught by Rocky Bayou inside the 30. And he tries to get something out of it, and he's tackled pretty quickly there by number 34, Shane White, and Ashton Morrison. So a nice punt by Guerin pins Rocky back down to their 30-yard line.
Yeah, another solid punt. Like you said, got it off quick, gets it deep, and Rocky trying to make something happen on special teams. But, again, just the absolute quickness of this Gator defense, and they bring him down quick.
Yeah, it wasn't a standard punt. You know, as Guerin was probably 7 yards behind the center, and as you said, just one of those quick punts designed to catch him off guard. Timeout taken with 8 minutes to go in the ball game. Back after this.
This radio ministry relies heavily upon its gracious supporters to survive, like Days Tire Pros in Crestview. In addition to tires with a national warranty, they have a complete car care center, providing brake jobs, front end and rear end alignments, oil change, lube and filter, shocks, belts, air conditioning, and so much more. Days is located where they've been for nearly 4 decades of service, on Highway 85 South, which is also home to Pack Rat Mini Storage. The phone number, 850-682-5088. Thanks, Kim and staff, for your support. Days Tire Pros, home of the hassle-free guarantee.
And welcome back to Baker. After a positive punt by Garrett Mitchum that pins Rocky down inside their 30-yard line, it's 1st and 10 Rocky from their 30. 8 minutes to go in the ball game, and it's Baker on top 42-0 over Rocky Bayou. And as they have been most of the night in shotgun formation. And it's bobbled by Balthazar. He picks it up, and he's going to be sacked for a loss back at the 20-yard line by big number 50. That is Joseph Ritchie.
And I think that's actually going to be Jonah Needham, the backup quarterback for Rocky Bayou, is coming in, take a few snaps. And the first play from scrimmage for him, and it's a bad snap. He bobbles it a little bit, and then the Gator defense is just on him quickly.
It's about a 10-yard loss back to the 21-yard line, so 2nd down 19, and right, that is Jonah Needham. We saw him in warm-ups pregame, throwing a few passes, and now he's getting a chance to play. And hands off to his running back, and that is William Murray on the run. Excuse me, that's not William Murray.
No, I believe that's Samuel Brewer, another freshman running back, one of the backups for Rocky Bayou. So some of their younger guys also getting some playing experience tonight, and that's good to see.
Tackle by Charlie Elliott for Baker. And the clock is quickly down to 6:45 left in this ball game with Baker on top, 42-0. It's about a 3-yard run. Brings up 3rd down and 15 from the Rocky 25-yard line. And handoff this time to Rocky Bayou. And he finds some yardage there, some open room. And he's out to about the 40-yard line. Tackle made by Chris Comey for the Baker Gators. And was that Balthazar again or Tyler Powell?
That was actually Brewer. Samuel Brewer, once again,
okay.
The freshman running back. Yeah, running outside that left tackle. Rocky's able to set the edge. And then Brewer showing off some good speed there as well. Gets upfield and produces another 1st down for this Rocky Bayou offense.
Timeout taken with 6:15 to go in the ball game. Baker 42 and Rocky Bayou nothing. And now here's Seth.
So Baker football is a production of Jock Jive Sports. This fall on JockJive.com, Georgia Military College football, SIAC football, the Great American Rivalries, ACCC Game of the Week, SWAC volleyball and soccer, Tuskegee football, Navarre and Baker football, and much, much more. Be sure to follow Jock Jive on Twitter and Facebook. On Twitter, we're at JockJive, and on Facebook, simply put Jock Jive Sports in the search engine. We give you scores, schedules, game highlights, event updates, and more. Twitter and Facebook, a great way to keep up with Jock Jive Sports. And also, if you have family that would like to listen to us that are not in the state of Florida or not within radio range, they can go to youtube.com, search Jock Jive Sports, and listen to us live there as well.
1st and 10, there's the handoff, or the quarterback keeper. As Grabinger breaks one tackle. And he's finally out to about the 45-yard line, tackled that time by Chris Comey for the Gators.
Chris Comey gets a big hand on Grabinger, is able to pull him down, but not before Grabinger is able to pick up a good 5 yards on the quarterback keeper.
A 2nd down 5, Rocky Bayou. Ball just shy of the 45-yard line. Clock rolling, 5:40 left in the ball game. Now back to pass goes Grabinger. Goes downfield, and the ball is well short. It was intended for Frank Tiller.
And he's trying to hit Tiller on the deep post route there. It looked like the ball might have slipped out of his hands and falls a little bit short. We were watching him as well with Jonah Needham beforehand in warm-ups, and Grabinger has a pretty powerful arm, so that ball looked like it got out of his hand just a little before he was ready.
3rd down 5, handoff this time. It's across the 50 and 45, still going, and finally pulled down by Eric Arias. And he took Eric for a ride there, but a great run by number 15 for Rocky Bayou. That's Samuel Brewer.
And the freshman coming in there, making some good runs, showing, hey, coach, I'd like to play a little bit. Gets a nice run there into Baker territory. So good to see the freshman making some plays.
1st and 10 from the Baker 40-yard line. And again, Brewer on the handoff. He breaks open. He's to the 30-yard line and finally brought down inside the 25. Great tackle by number 34, Shane White.
And this, the most impressive drive that Rocky Bayou has had all night, especially behind the legs of Brewer. He's got some shiftiness, some quickness, and he's getting some good blocks from this Rocky O-line. Rocky driving here.
4:17 to go. This time it's a quarterback keeper by Grabinger. Right side. He's across the 20, inside the 20-yard line. And he's tackled by number 12. That is Nolan Watson for the Gators.
And so here, this is going to be a point of pride for the Gator defense. They're pitching a shutout right now. The game is in hand, but we'll see if the defense is able to keep this shutout preserved.
And it's Brewer again inside the 15-yard line to about the 10, and tackles made by Zach Livingston for the Gators. It's about a 5-yard pickup, brings up 2nd down 5 for Rocky, and the ball is at the Gator 12. 3:35 to go in the ball game.
Another simple run by Brewer up the gut. Livingston's able to drag him down, but not before he picks up a good 5 yards.
Now Grabinger to the air, and it's almost picked off by Ashton Morrison, then almost caught by Tyler Powell for Rocky and right in his hands, and he just couldn't hang on to it, so it's incomplete. 3rd down 5 for Rocky.
Yeah, like you said, the Gators almost had their first pick of the year. That was Ashton Morrison that got his hands up there. Looked like he was going to wrap it, and then right behind him with his knee on the ground, right about the end zone, Powell just can't quite hold on.
And quarterback keeper Grabinger, he's to the 5. Touchdown, Rocky Bayou.
So Rocky will get on the board tonight. Great run by Grabinger, right up the gut. Makes a few guys miss, gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Knights.
2:44 to go in the ball game, and it's now 42-6. And looks like they may line up for the kick. And they are, instead of going for 2 here, going to just go for the 1. And it's Zach Balthasar lined up for the extra point attempt. The ball is down, the kick is up, and it's good. 2:14 to go in the ball game. Your new score is Baker 42, Rocky Bayou 7. Back after this.
Milligan Assembly of God is a proud sponsor of Baker Gator football. Our service times are on Sundays at 9:30 for Sunday school, 10:30 for morning worship, and 6 p.m. for Sunday night explosion. Our midweek service is on Wednesday nights starting at 7 p.m., and there's something for every age group of the family. You can connect with us at mag.church, and you can check us out on Facebook. From Pastor Mike White and the congregation of Milligan Assembly of God, we want to say,
Go Gators, yeah!
WTJT would like to send a special thanks to CCSI of Crestview, Florida. As businesses like you do all your support that makes this live coverage of the Baker Gators Friday Night Football possible.
And welcome back to Baker. Rocky Bayou, with just under 2 minutes to go, puts points on the board to avoid the shutout. And it's Baker 42, Rocky Bayou 7. And the clock continues to roll. It is down to 1 minute right now. Balthasar set to kick off for the Gators. And back deep is Shane White and Seth Lahuda. And that's not Lahuda. That is Kevin Garrett, who picks the ball up, goes from one side to the other, and he's finally brought down. about the 23-yard line. And we're down to 30 seconds left in this homecoming game, 2018.
And it looks like the Gator offense will not have to run a play. That's going to be the final play of the game.
So the Gators remain undefeated, 5 wins, no losses, as we're to the midway point of the 2018 season. A 42-7 homecoming win over Rocky Bayou. Next week, though, another tough test as they travel to Jay to face the Royals, who beat the same Rocky Bayou Knights 52-0 earlier this year. Seth, what's your final thoughts on tonight's game?
So I just want to address a few things. Like I talked about right as we were coming to the end of halftime, the Gators just operated on all cylinders. The starters did exactly what they were expected to do in this homecoming game. McLaughlin on the ground, 4 touchdowns, nearly 200 yards, just an absolute stud, and a player that we're going to continue to see put up some big numbers the rest of this year. Halfway through the season, already over 600 yards, nearly 700 yards rushing. Look for him to get close to 2,000 before this season's over. But the Gators did what they were supposed to do. Rocky just playing a for lack of better words, a superior team. The Gators are just superior in every facet of this game. And tonight, what was supposed to happen, I think happened. The Gators did what people expected them to do. And I think Rocky coming in, playing their heart out, really put up a great effort against the Gators, made some good plays, just fell short in a couple areas. But not to take away anything from this Rocky team that is going to do great in their own district, beat 2 of their Christian academies, came in and struggled against Baker and Jay, obviously 2 great teams in their own right. So look for Rocky to still have a great season the rest of the season. But overall, just Baker is proving that they are a contender for the state championship once again. You're going to see them in the postseason. There's almost no doubt about it. So next week against Jay may be one of the toughest tests of the season thus far. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm very much looking forward to that game.
Indeed, it will be. And next week, we invite you to come to Jay and watch these Gators. If you can't, tune in to WTJT 90.1 FM. We'll be there. Once again, your final score here is Baker 42 and Rocky Bayou 7. For Seth Forehand, I'm Mark Forehand. Have a super safe weekend. See you next week.